Hey kids, I've been my name is Pat to Cody, by the way. I've been making my sermons for adults. I've been doing this for a while, but you can find the grown up and listen to this story. I figured I'd start making content for you all if you'll give me some few minutes of your time here. Oh, hey Maya. Yeah, me, sweetie. Sorry about that. That was my little niece. Today I'm going to tell you an incredible story. If you have your Bible, you know where it is. Like, say, a grown up can help you with this. Turn to Daniel 6:5. Again, that's Daniel 6, chapter 6, verse 5. You don't bit of context beforehand. Daniel and his friends were taken from the home by a people called the Babylonians. If you want to know how to spell that, you can think of it like baby, the word baby, and Ionian, spelled like a sound, Lonians. Now they were taken by these people to the Babylonians. They had stayed there for years and years. Daniel stayed there till he died actually, but we're not going that far. And in that Daniel honored God. I mean, he honored God. He was Jewish, so they took that very seriously. But he really went all out for God. And that was important because this was a country where you weren't really allowed to do that. I won't say, yeah, this is a country where you weren't allowed to do that. It used to, especially in the years, especially in the years following, that was considered weird, or that was considered a word called heresy, that was just considered bad for you because you didn't worship these other things. You worship quote an invisible God. Most of the Babylonians, that statues they prayed to, that and physical things, and the Bible outlaws that. The Bible says, "You shall not have any graven images, or you shall not worship anything on earth, any physical thing, except God." But anyway, let's get into our story proper. A a little bit more context now that I'm thinking about it. So remember when I said that Daniel honored God, and yet Daniel really honored God, was very airtight. Well, when you do that, it becomes hard for people to find fault with you because God is perfect and everything God does is perfect. So when you honor Him, then you don't want to do bad things. You don't want to do things that could get you in trouble, even if even if through the eyes of other people it may get you in trouble. But it becomes harder and harder to see that. So verse 5, Then these men said, we shall not find any charges against this Daniel, and yet we find it against him concerning the ark of God. So these governors and sheriffs, they are basically just government. They're basically just government officials. But you can look over this with the grown up too. It's a very interesting society they built for themselves here. So these governors and satraps thronged before the king. So they went before the king and said thus to him, King Darius, yet forever all the governors of the kingdom, the administrators and the satraps, the counselors and advisors have consulted together to establish a royal statute. There's that word again, statute, and to make a firm decree that whosoever possesses any god or man for 30 days except you, O king, shall be cast into the den of giants. You ever have someone just say something incredibly nice to you, but they want something from you? Well, that's what these men did. These men were basically saying, "Hey, you're like a god. You're like, you deserve to be worshipped and all that. You're all that in the bag of chips, basically. You're so great." And they did that to get the statue commissioned. So people, well, not really the statue, some people could worship it. But that Darius deserved to be worshipped above God, so they smoking him. They made him feel good, so he would feel the way, and so that he would do this to trap Daniel. Yes, you look further on. Oh, yeah, PC. All the no, verse 8. Now, O king, now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, so it cannot be changed, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which did not alter. Therefore, King Darius signed the written decree. Now, remember, this couldn't be changed. Him and the king and Daniel were friends, as we'll see, as we'll see in the verses following. But this could not be changed, even if the king wanted to. So they were going to have to live with it. Now, when Daniel knew the writing, so Daniel heard about this, was signed, he went home in his upper room, which the windows opened toward Jerusalem. He knelt down on his knees 3 times that day and prayed and gave thanks before his God. Capital capital G there because he is the one true God, as was his custom since early days. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and make supplication before his God. And they went before the king and spoke concerning the king's decree. Have you not signed a decree that every man who petitions in the God or man within 30 days except you, O king, shall be cast in the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true according to Yah the Medes and the Persians, which does not alter. So they answered and said before the king that Daniel, who is one of the captains from Judah, does not so due regard for you, O king, over the decree that you signed, but make this petition 3 times a day. And the king, when he heard these words, was greatly displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he able till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Remember, I said this law could not be changed, though unfortunately. But then the then these men approached the king and said, O no, O king, that it is the Artemis in person that no decree or statute which the king establishes may be changed. So the king gave the command, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the lions. But the king spoke, saying to Daniel, your God, whom you serve continually, he will deliver you. Now this is very important because the king, well, setting aside the fact that his administrator tried to convince him that he was their God, which is something that the devil do to try to get you away from God. He was he was in a very difficult position. So difficult, in fact, that he gave himself up to the idea of God. He said, your God whom you serve continually, he will deliver you. His knowledge maybe not in the void yet, but he did acknowledge, he did have faith in this God that he would deliver Daniel because of his faithfulness. He may not have fully understood it yet, but he had faith in God that he would deliver him. And that's all we need to have is faith in God that he will deliver us if we're faithful to him and we honor him. So the climax story right here, you see how the story ends. Then a stone was brought and laid on the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet ring, and with the signets of his lord, that the purpose concerning Daniel might not be changed. That word "lord" there, just as an aside, if anyone wondering, that word "lord" there is basically just means overseers. In that time, that wasn't used to mean like we would say the old God. That would just that would just used to basically mean overseers. But that just an aside if anyone little confused. That the purpose concerning Daniel might not be changed. So Daniel was sealed in. Daniel was sealed into the tomb by mighty stone, and if that wasn't enough, he was sealed by the king's signet ring, so it could not be opened without the king's approval. Now the king went to his palace and spent the night fasting, and no musicians were brought before him. Also, his sleep went from him. Now, this is important too. He fasted. Now you don't necessarily have to do that to prove to God that you are faithful and to prove you're serious to God. But that was a custom in the day that you did set yourself apart to throw to show yourself holy before God. So that was a custom that we see that Darius was greatly distraught. He was really serious about his claim that God was going to deliver Daniel. Then the king arose very early in the morning. He probably didn't sleep. He just laid down and maybe read to the light for a few minutes because that sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste to the den of giants. And when it came to the den, he cried out with a voice immensely to the voice spoke, saying to Daniel, Daniel, servant of the living God, had your God whom you serve continually been able to deliver you from the lions? Now this is important too before we run to the climax. You notice what Darius said there. Darius said, Daniel, servant of the living God, had your God whom you serve continually been able to deliver you from the lions? God may not always deliver us. Before we know how the story ends, God may not always God may not always deliver us, but He's still on His throne, and He does not deliver us for a reason. Something tells me, based on how this is written, that Darius would have still subjected and submitted himself to God, even if even if God didn't deliver Daniel, even if God didn't deliver his good friend from the lion in the mouth of the enemies that these schemers has concocted. But yet the other story ends. Then Daniel said to the king, O king, live forever. My God has sent his angel and shut the lion's mouth so that they have not heard me, because I was found innocent before him. You was found innocent before God. And also, O king, I have done no wrong for you. Now the king was exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no injury whatsoever was found on him, because he believed in his God. So he believed in God. He prayed for his salvation. And when we do that, like I say, maybe not always, do that, God will deliver us. But even if He doesn't, even when He doesn't, like in the case of Darius, God still deserves to be praised. God still deserves to be honored because of what He has done for you in the past and the exceeding abundance that He has given you. And the king gave the command, and they brought those men who had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions. Them, their children, and their wives, and the lions overpowered them, and broke all their bones in pieces before they ever came to the bottom of the den. Now, that's very important too. We see that these men were not very nice to Daniel. They wanted to it, Daniel would have gained power for themselves. But we also see that in their zeal and in them wanting to hurt Daniel really, what the king that Darius uncovered to just put Daniel in the mouth of the lion and kill Daniel. When they discovered this, when Darius discovered this, it didn't only affect the men, it affected their children, it affected their wives. When when the devil comes on you, and when you do bad things, and when you choose to not honor God, and when you choose to go away from God and go your own way and say, oh, I'm gonna lie to my parents. I'm gonna steal this candy bar, or whatever have you, whatever you can think of that goes against God, and maybe you can think of something yourself that'll go against God. Whenever you do something that goes against God, sometimes it doesn't only affect you, because God has to remove that. God has to show you, hey, your choices have the consequences that not only affect you. Everybody is tempted to do bad things. Everybody is. But that that memory that when you do bad things that not only affect you, that can give you pause because you carry yourself yak not all that when you do bad things not only affect you, it can disappoint your parents, it can disappoint your family, just anything around you. All the bad things can happen because you chose to disobey God. Then King Darius wrote, to all people and languages that dwell on earth, peace be multiplied to you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men must tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and steadfast forever. His kingdom is one, which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall endure to the end. He delivers and rescues, and he works signs and wonders in heaven and on earth. He would deliver Daniel from the power of the lions. So the Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. He was the king after Daniel. We're not gonna get into him right now. But he was the king after Daniel. We see Daniel was very prosperous because he honored God. And we also see from that he convicted his friend, he convicted Darius. God, God showed Darius a really practical example of his power that that he could deliver anyone anytime he wants from anything if they so honor him, if they want that. And because of Daniel's faith in God, because of Daniel's prayer, this isn't just a generic story of courage. You notice how I always keep emphasizing because of his faith in God, because of God. Because if Daniel has faith in anything else, which is easy for it's easy for the devil to play that in us. If you have faith in money, if you have faith in your popularity or your friends, but you don't have faith in God, then God's not going to deliver you. But because of Daniel's faith in God, his faith, hey, God is going to do. God has been faithful to me in this midst of what I'm going through, so I'll be faithful to Him. God in turn honored Daniel. That can happen for you too. Because God created you for a purpose. And God created you to honor Him. It may be tough for you right now in school, with homework, or with friends, or anything. But if you honor God, or if you choose to honor God, you can pray to Him like Darius did, to deliver you from the trouble, to help you, or maybe not even to deliver you, just to help you with the trouble that you're. It may take them time. It may not immediately be rectangle, but He'll deliver you from trouble because He is good and because He is faithful. Well, thank you for joining me. I'll um I'll be praying for you. God made you special, and He loves you very much.